You're still watching Prime Morning, and we started the conversation earlier. Our guests are seated now. You can still send in your messages to us. It's all about blended families, how to manage a blended family or the challenges in blended household. Of course, there are so many challenges in there. Last week when we started, we spoke general about the blended home or blended families. But today, we are talking about the challenges, how to cope with it. You are bringing a child, you have a challenge. The person accepting the child has a challenge. Your child might go and meet another child, so your child might have a challenge. That child that is welcoming another child in will also have a challenge. The in-laws will have a challenge. So how do you manage such a situation? And I'm glad that our guests are back again because they started this and both of them have managed blended homes very well. Reverend Owusu Adjinah is actually from a blended household, so he grew up from a blended household. And we have Akosua Agyapong, who grew up from a blended household, and she's also with a blended household currently. So the situation, they are the best people to talk about this morning. So welcome, Rev and Akosua.
Thank you, sweetheart.
How are you?
By God's grace.
Great, great. You're looking lovely, the two of you, I must say.
You.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, we started the conversation last week, and you can join us. So please, you can join us on our WhatsApp numbers. Let me ask the kind of challenges one is to expect, or for those who joined us this week but couldn't join us last week, let's just briefly talk about what blended family is, and then we can talk about the challenges. Okay. So, Rev, last week you actually explained that, so please do it again.
Okay, so basically a blended family is a family where you have children not from both parents. So you have the man who comes into the marriage with the child, or the woman who comes into the marriage with the child. Or much later, even in the marriage, there is an issue of a child that has come up and wants to be brought into the home. And so that becomes not a pure breed family, it becomes a blended family. I mean, that child or that individual has the genes of only one parent and not both parents. So basically that's a blended family.
That's what a blended family.
Yes.
So that's where we call the steps and the halves.
Yes.
See, I'll say a very good morning to your viewers, and sorry for us being late. You see, in everything that we talk about, I sit down and I think of something. Let's look at step. The step, your S, it should be supportive. You should be ready to support whoever is bringing in the child. Okay. If you are bringing in the child, the one that is going to accept the child should be ready to support. And that is the S for me. The T, you should train the child to be as you, if it was your own child, train the child as you want that child to be. Because it will not be easy, but with prayers and with you telling yourself, I can make it, train the child to be the child that you want. The E, you encourage the child. Whether you are the man or the woman, just encourage the child. Tell the child, look, your dad is not here, but me, papa me do what. Encourage the child. The child might come in with a problem. Maybe where she wasn't happy. Where he wasn't happy. But you are going to encourage the child. Tell the child that you are in your new home, and this is your mom, this is your new dad. You understand? You have to encourage the child. And the P is very important. You should be prepared. Because anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
So when I was just thinking of that step, and I said, look, you should be prepared because this child maybe is a good child who's coming to also help you to let your marriage grow. You that is bringing in that child, that means it's going to help you and my new daddy for it to work. Or he or she's coming to spoil it. So you should be prepared for anything. And to be prepared, you should pray.
Yeah.
So if it goes on well, so with the step, this is what I had in my mind. Now let's look at, as you rightly said, what some of the things that we should be ready, the challenges. Some of the men decide that there's some painful words that some of the men say. You are seated there. Maybe there's the school fees issue. Then the woman will come and ask the man, oh, please, can you, my daughter's school fees, where is that the father? Where is his father? Why should I spend on this child? What is that? That means in this case, the child has also heard what you are saying. That means he or she is not welcome in the house. Yeah. And sometimes the child might not even know that's a step. Because maybe he brought when the child was at a tender age. So he or she is thinking that, oh, that is my dad, that's my mom. Then one day that bomb comes out. Where is that mother of where's that the mother? Take the child back to the mother.
Yeah.
You give it identity crisis.
And then sometimes the challenges are the woman that has kids already, the man brings in the step, then the woman look at, hey, she's not your brother. That boy is not
your brother.
So make sure your toys, he doesn't play with it. So sometimes the mothers will put some evil thing in the child.
Yeah.
So sometimes the child is ready to welcome whoever is coming in.
Yeah.
But sometimes the mother or the father, that the step is coming in, or even put some ideas in the children's head.
Yeah.
So it's all about you making sure, don't think of their love. Make sure that when you are taking that child, the child is going to be happy.
Yeah.
Don't think of your happiness. Immediately you think of your happiness, you lose that child. So ask yourself, is this lady, is Akosua ready? Is Akosua prepared to take in my child? Because that challenge is, you can come from maybe the first year, Akosua is nice with my child.
Yeah.
The second year, it's a different story.
Does it change according to years? Do you experience different challenges depending on the number of years?
Let me answer briefly before that it comes, because I mentioned it. As I always say, that it's your sisters, your brothers, who you are talking to, and the advice they give you that make you change from the sweet stepmother, the sweet stepfather, to another person. But you were not like that. Yeah. What happened? If I accepted that child in the house, the mother will come in and she'll come and separate you people. Yeah. Their father has been coming there. You don't know that. That boy's father has become there. If you are with me, it's not like that. So the person starts changing. And it's natural. Oh, is that so? So that sweet stepfather, that sweet stepmother just changed because of what somebody has told him or her. Yes. So yeah.
Yeah, some of the things you mentioned, and it's very interesting how Akosua Agyapong brought in STEP. She's done a basic acronym of it, being supportive of the situation, training the child as though it is your own, being encouraging, and then being prepared. And the word prepared means that I tell people that you don't prepare for war during war.
Yes.
You prepare for war in a time of peace. So before the child is brought into the home, you should be mentally prepared.
That is it.
You should know that this child could either be a positive factor or a negative factor. And you should also know that yourself also, you could end up being a positive factor or a negative factor in the life of the child. True. And as we looked at this, two biblical characters that they come up strongly, that they are the greatest personalities in Scripture, David and Jesus. David was in a blended family, which is why his father didn't even think he mattered when they were thinking about who to be made a king. I mean, it took Prophet Samuel to say, do you have another child?
Yes.
So it's like, to Jesse, he had only these 7 kids. And David actually came in outside the marriage, from outside the marriage. If you look at the classic case of Jesus also, before Joseph and Mary could have any sexual contact, Mary was pregnant.
Yeah.
And the angel told Joseph that do not reject this child, but accept this child. Yeah. And Joseph trained Jesus as his own. Yeah. And so even God in flesh knows what it means and how it feels to be in a blended family. Yeah. And yet they did not fail. So I want to look at it also from the perspective of the child who has been brought in. I always say, if you expect disappointment, you don't get disappointed. The child who is coming, you must know that there is the possibility that I may not get everything as I would if I were with my natural mom or my natural dad.
So you psych the child as such.
Exactly.
So let's look at this instance. Okay. A child, you come with a child, and your husband comes with a child. Then you have children together, which Akosua is the same household. Yeah. And then let's say one of your children that you have together come to tell you that, oh, daddy's child is beating me, or mommy, your child is beating me. How will you handle a situation like that?
Okay. If, let's say, that the child that was brought in and the one that you brought in, they were your biological children. That's how you have to decide your mind. If they were, because even with our children that they are from one mother, one father, they fight.
Yeah.
This one beats this one, and they come and report.
Even twins fight.
So tell yourself that, let's say that my husband's daughter or my husband's son is one of my biological children.
Own, but how would I have
responded? So the way that you handle it, you should handle that the same
way.
But the minute that you start differentiating, you start letting the children know that, hey, how dare you touch my daughter?
Yeah.
Then you are actually separating the children.
Tickling the
what
divide.
did you do before? What did you do before she beats you? What did you do before she shouted on you? And you see the child say, hey, mommy, I'm saying something. No, but what did you do? Then the child knows that, oh, I'm safe where I am. Oh, this woman is being fair. This man is being fair. But the minute you say, don't touch my child, if ever you touch my child, no, that means you're not prepared for this child. And that is when you, the man or the woman, you start thinking that, no, if I'm not at home, what will happen to this child? And some children even run from there. They run away from that and they become something else because that love that they're expecting, they never got it. There's this woman that a man has brought in his 2 kids, a boy, and do you know what the woman do? When the man is not around, she will beat the children and not give them food. And then after they finish eating, she will give the child leftover. And she told them that if you tell your daddy, your daddy will not believe you because your daddy knows that I'll not keep people hungry. So one day, this child said, the lady became a public figure, so I can't mention her name. Do you know what? She said spiritually, she would dream that a spirit want to sleep with her. But she would say no. She had to give him because she wanted food to eat. One day, if I meet this guy, let her come on. I'll come and say a story.
Wow.
So she allowed the spirit to sleep with her. That time she was in mentor. I'll mention her name. She was in mentor. That was going on. So the stepmother came to tell her that after this competition, don't come to the house.
Wow.
Somebody was having the competition. And the finals, when this girl went to they take them to the house, do you know that when I gave her a Bible when she left, because she told me about it. When she started and got her, the Bible was not there, but this thing I come to sleep with her, and there was blood on her bed. So and the day of the finals, that this girl was going to compete, the stepmother can say, after this competition, don't come to the house. So the girl was
That's
confused.
trauma.
So they came to call me, and I had to talk to her, advise her. The girl is going through a lot. That girl, I'm looking for her. Afterwards, I'm going to ask people to look for her. Now, a man of God that took her in was sleeping with her.
Oh, boy.
So now, look, the stepmother didn't help her. The stepmother actually pushed her out
into destruction.
And look at where she is now. You understand? So immediately you get a wrong stepfather or a wicked stepmother or a wicked stepfather. Know that you, the one that's taking that child in, if you are not careful, and if you listen to your wife too much or listen to your husband too much, you always see that your stepchild is bad.
So if you're a stepchild in this situation, what do you do? How do you manage such a situation?
You speak the truth. If you're a recorder, you record. And then you plead with your father or your mother
your
to take
biological.
it to your auntie or maybe somebody because you realize that you are not welcome in the house.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you end up doing something that you might regret.
You're not. I mean, I told you I was raised in a blended family, and the challenge is sometimes we even as a child, you might tend to think that, oh, if my mom was here, the challenge of comparing your step with your natural mom, especially if you actually live with your mom and then there was divorce and then now you live with a step, you now begin to compare your mom and your stepmother. It comes naturally. It's as a child, it would just come into your mind. And sometimes there could be the tendency for you to do silly things just to get to the stepmother.
Yes.
I mean, the temptation to get at my stepmom. And even sometimes the feel of like it's because of this woman that my mom is not here. So my mom had to leave the marriage because of this woman. So there's transferred anger and transferred aggression. And you as a stepmom, it's most likely you had no idea.
Yeah, so now you as a stepmom, you become a victim.
You become a victim. That's why I said that all the people within that kind of structure actually can easily suffer and can also easily met out suffering to the other. if you are not very, very intentional, you must understand that things are not going to be natural.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
It's not going to be as it would be if it were natural. And even in pure breed families, there are pure breed families that moms are wicked to their own children.
I was going to say it. True.
Okay? And dads could even be irresponsible and they don't take care of their own kids.
Yes,
so
if you take 100 dads that are irresponsible, you get 80 that are irresponsible.
He's the dad. There's a little bit of compassion or sympathy or forgiveness coming from the children, or coming from the wife. But once you are a step, there's no compassion towards you.
There's rejection, there is suspicion, there is transferred anger, there is identity crisis, especially for the child also. Who am I in this place? Am I important? Am I accepted? Am I loved? Am I welcomed? You get what I'm saying? So all those factors, that's why I say that, especially for you, the person who caused a blended family, especially if the situation of the blended family is your fault. Let me use the word quote and unquote, your fault. Like you had a child and then you brought the child into the marriage. You should be the more tolerant person. You should be what Akosua said, the step. You should be the one who is more supportive. You should be the one who should go out to even train your spouse that, you know what, I know it doesn't come naturally. But babe, if you love me, extend that love to this child. Love my child. Because as you love my child, that is how I feel you love me. Okay.
But doesn't that come natural?
It doesn't come.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
But let me, some mothers, some stepmothers are even nicer and sweeter than their own
natural mother.
So when you start sharing that, there's a stepmother that when the child was getting married, when the stepson was getting married, the mother was around, but he wanted the stepmother to come before he even drove out of the house.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And that is me.
Oh, wow.
Yes. My stepson wanted me to come. He was waiting for me while the mother came from UK. He was waiting for me to come before he would drive out of his house. Yes. And so it's how you raise your stepson, how you love him, how you show him love. People knew I had 7 kids before they got to know that, the first one was even my step. They wouldn't have even known till 1 or 2 issues came up. So you see, it's up to you. And some of the stepmothers, I'm warning them, when you bring that son of yours or that daughter of yours to the house, your main aim is to make sure that the properties, you want their child, the man should add your child to his properties and becomes a problem. That means you are there with a different idea. A man will, because the woman has money, he will bring in a child and say, oh, you have to add my child to your company, I do this for him. And he'll be giving the child ideas. A friend of mine, the husband died, and the stepson that she took in went to their room and started searching the papers for the house papers for the mother. The mother that left, your mother that left you, and your stepmother took you in as her own. But he didn't know that house was for the woman. It was not for the dead father. But he went to the house, to a room while the mother was at the mortuary. And she was looking for documents. So sometimes it's all about prayers. So sometimes you go in with a very good heart, but that stepchild, the information that they give to that stepchild becomes a problem. So when it gets to some point that when you are praying, don't pray for money, you pray that the Akwalane not be free, she won't come and destroy your marriage. Because some children come in to destroy the marriage.
That's true.
Because of what she or she has been to. And so the problems and also comes from our sisters and our brothers. They will come and meet the stepchild there. Me and come in Pino, me and come a
or even friends.
And then friends. So you see, but what you have to do is you have to be prepared for anything. They will come and tell you things, you do this. You are doing it for God. But that child can be a breadwinner, can even take care of you. I know some stepchildren who take care of their stepdad.
Stepmom, stepdad.
And their father went to report to the family, and the children came down from UK. I didn't know that man was their stepfather.
That's right.
They send him tickets to come for holidays. Then they'll be fighting. That will stay with me. That will come and stay. That will come. So when I say, hey, Kwame, you're always fighting, say he's our stepdad. Our dad is in care because he didn't take care of us. So sometimes the stepdaddies are there and the stepmothers are there. They love the children as their own. Don't think of today. Think of the future.
Let me ask this, Akosua. Yes. Having a blended household, having stepchildren, hasn't there been any instance where any of your stepchildren have done anything that has hurt you so much that you felt that, you know what, to go back to your mom?
My sister, your own children do the same thing.
Your own children will hurt you.
You see, I want them to put something in their heads.
Don't treat the child as a step. Don't segregate them.
You have children that are serious. They'll tell you things.
That really can hurt you.
That can even hurt you. So if your stepchild says the same thing,
it's the same thing.
Really?
Hey, don't say really. It is normal. My sister,
normal.
Listen, you can bring up your own child, and he or she cannot be what you want the child to be.
Exactly.
Now, they've brought in a child, especially when the mother is even dead, or the father is dead, and they bring that child to you. Yeah. Sister, do your best. If you're a teacher and they've brought in kids, a teacher taking care of about 60 children. Some of the children, you look at them and say, hey, that's not free. You understand? But a teacher tries to teach the children a way that they say, teach your child a way that when he grows up, so when that child, you don't know that child's future, that child can be the nastiest. But with your teaching, with your encouragement, with your love, sometimes it's not easy. I won't say it's easy. But with that, you can change that child.
I'll ask you a question, but let me come to Rev here.
To add to what she said about a teacher training up children. You know, the scripture says, love your enemies. Yeah. Now, if your enemy, the person who is an sworn enemy, who is an enemy is somebody who has determined they don't want any good for you.
Yes.
If even an enemy, our God expects that we will love our enemies, how much more the child of the person you claim you love? And for you also as a child, if scripture requires that you will love your enemy, how much more the woman who is not your mom and open her house, open her home, and accepted you and loved you. Whatever you sow, you will reap. Yeah. And oftentimes, as a pastor, I've done full-time ministry for a long time in the Foursquare Gospel Church, that's my branch. I tell people that you could sow here, but the Bible didn't say where you sow is where you will reap. It says what you sow, you would reap it. It could be in a different way. It could be in a different place. So that stepchild you are raising may rather be the one who would make it bigger than your children.
Yes.
But because you sowed into him, your children will reap from him.
Yeah.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So do not segregate people.
But how do you get a rebellious stepchild to love you and understand that this is my mom or this is my dad?
Let me tell you something.
Question the head there,
the minute you realize that this child, I have tried and I have tried. If he was your biological child, would you send him away? Would you send her away? Most of the time, when the child is that, if it's your own child, you might end up maybe taking him or her to a boarding school. Now, let me tell you something. That boarding school sending the child, you are sending the child to go and meet other rebellious children, and you come home worse. So it's prayer. Prayer is the key. Can you show him? As soon as he does something, okay, you wanted a shirt from me, okay. If you don't do this, the shirt, I will not buy it. Because he needs that shirt to go to a school function. He or she will do what. You see, there's a way to kill a cat. There's so many ways to kill a cat. But there's some cats that are very stupid.
Yeah.
They don't mush about them. No, and then they don't mush about. That's how you kill. And so that child, you need to have time for that child. Everywhere you go, you pull the child. If you're going to church, you pull the child. If you're going out, let's go. I don't want to leave here, you cause problem. You say, when you're in the car, you're talking to the child. You don't leave him at home, or you don't leave her at home. You should start getting closer to you. But you leave the child at home, but stay home. Then you take the other children out. You are leaving him there to be worse. So my sweetheart, there's so many ways. Take your time. See what the child likes, what the child doesn't like. And then you start working on it. Look, you can use 2 years, 3 years, but you get that child. Say, hey, according to what son is saying, this child, you able to? Yes. Because there are some women that they will take the child from you. And when you go, you don't realize that is the child. You give your child to your sister, your cousin. The way the person will train the child. Hey, I don't know who will come. If you ask her to go and watch, she doesn't even watch the dishes, but she's doing it here. Yes, she had the patience. She was prepared. She prepared herself to meet this child and make sure that we bond. So most of the time, it's about the bonding. So if you're a mother, and I'm begging, this one, I want to say it quickly. Yeah. If you're a mother or you're a father, and your wife or your daughter, your wife or your husband is taking your child to another home, I beg you, don't cause any confusion between you and the man. If you're a man, don't cause confusion between the two. Or if you're a woman, don't cause confusion between you and the wife that your child is going to. Because that is also another big problem. The minute you insult the woman, you insult the guy. He has this anger in him. So as soon as that child comes in, so transfer. So if you know that you cannot take care of your child, and your husband has come for the child, somebody's doing you that favor, make sure that you appreciate. Hello, how are you? My child, I know he or she is stubborn. Please have patience and encourage the child. And then you have that friendship. But some of the mothers are already jealous. The one that they are bringing the child are jealous.
That was going to be my question to Rev. Rev, I mean, having a woman or a man who is hating on your child, how do you turn that person to love your child? Because sometimes you might do everything, but they just don't like your child.
Yes.
So if you are the one who brought in the child, because sometimes you say, I love my child, but it's not easy to talk. So what do you do?
Auntie Akosua mentioned that love the child. And as she spoke those words, one thing that came to my mind was there is no hard heart that cannot be broken without love. I mean, no matter how hard somebody's heart is, love, consistent love demonstrated would eventually cracking that hardness. It happens to everybody. Relentless love, relentless pursuit and acceptance. But to answer that question, your spouse brought in a child and you notice that, or you came with your child, and then you notice that your spouse cannot accept your child.
Yeah.
Try as much as you can. You've been the nicest, you've spoken with the person, you've done all of that. I think that there comes a point where you need to sit down and the two of you have a very open-ended conversation. What really are my expectations? And what have been your expectations? And give the person the opportunity to explain their challenge with your child.
Okay.
It could be that they also have a certain expectation from the child and the child is misbehaving or the child is not doing something that ought to be done. So allow your spouse also to express his difficulty. Do not see it as only your difficulty. Understand that it is a difficulty for your marriage. Now, I always tell couples I'm counseling to get married. I learned that from my junior overseer, Reverend Francis. He told me that there are always 3 things in a marriage. Number 1, you, the husband, and the marriage. You must understand that the marriage itself is also an entity that can be nourished, nurtured, and can grow and can become great and will flourish. Now, different things can come in to affect the health of that entity called the marriage. So in that instance, you should have that open-ended conversation with your spouse. Remind them that the thing is not about you and about your child, but it is about the impact of what their action is having on your marriage.
Exactly, Rev.
And sometimes, if they care about the marriage, they should kindly do something about
Rev, sometimes no matter what you do, the woman is not ready to accept the child.
Yeah.
The man is not ready to accept the child. You take the child out and give the child to your sister or somebody to handle the child. Because the child will never, ever be happy.
Right.
No matter what you're doing. No? Or by now, he's not going to accept the child.
Exactly.
So when it happens down, you realize that the child has been there for a year and nothing's happening. Be smart. Either your mom,
of course,
or your sister,
for the sake
of peace
of your marriage,
yes, you take the child.
It would mean that the child should go out, and it happened with Abraham and Sarah.
Anyway, let me read some messages. Let me read some messages. I think the lady should accept the man's son and love him as his own, and she will start enjoying her marriage. This is Esther from Bremen, Benin. All right, let's see if we have some other messages there as well. If we have other messages there as well.
You see, okay, this.
Okay. Somebody says happy birthday. Have the happiest birthday. Enjoy your day, okay? Kwame from Efia Debbie. All right, so you can also send your messages to us, and I think there's one more message coming in. Let's see what's there. Say hello, please. Good morning. Please, I'm KBJ, an artist, and I wanted to pass through interview. Okay. People are shooting their shots. That's fine. We'll see what we can do for you, okay? But yeah, if you have any questions, we have barely 3 minutes to go.
My baby girl, I want to say something briefly. You see, sometimes you know who you're getting married to. Because marriage is about maturity.
Yeah.
And that is where the M comes. I'll not go there. Next time I'll talk about it. Maturity. You can marry a woman or a man who is not matured.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that you can easily sit down and analyze and then talk and discuss.
Yeah.
But the person, because of lack of maturity, is not ready to accept it. And this is where the A comes in. It's ready to accept. That means this marriage, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And the R, is the person ready for anything that comes in? For you bringing your stepchildren, is the person ready? The other R, is the person responsible? Now the I, can the person ignore things that come in?
Certain things.
You see, if you can ignore things, that's where you're my worry, I've really... And then the
and
A...
then some of us, we've gotten there.
And the A...
Ignoring.
And then the A, that the person appreciates what you do.
Ignore.
If the person appreciates what you do, then you know that whatever you bring, the person appreciates you and will appreciate whatever you're doing for her.
Yeah.
You can take care of your stepdaughter as your own, but the man or the woman doesn't even appreciate what you're doing. And then they tell you, she's complaining. And that's appreciation. And let's look at the G. Even with cars and everything, one guarantee.
Yeah.
How many is guaranteed have you put in your marriage? It's a ball. And I say, me in 2 years, if it doesn't change, I'll leave him.
I'll leave.
And then the E, you have to entertain anything that comes in. So when we talk about marriage and so I'm getting married, there's a whole of things that goes on in marriage. Because the E being entertainment. Can you entertain your husband's parents?
So do you sacrifice your child for the sake of your marriage? Or you actually leave the marriage for the sake of your child?
My sister, you don't, that's I say, if you love your husband and you love your wife, and your wife cannot love your child that you come in with. My sister, my brother, Junihu.
You are not says,
Because
anyway.
A child that I did, we were married and then he brings in that child. That one sometimes it's a bit annoying, but if you love your man, and the minute you start loving that child, the man loves you more.
Yeah.
The marriage becomes beautiful because, look at the way he's taking care of my child. But the minute that you realize that,
it becomes a problem.
You start thinking about it. Because say, love me, love my dog. He loves you, but if he loves your dog, how much for your own child?
Well, this is all time will permit us for our relationship segment. Thank you so much, Reverend Jerry Adjinah, for being here today. We are super grateful. And to you, Akosua Agyapong, thank you so much. We are super grateful. I mean, this conversation has been very, very educative because from people who have experienced it, they've shared it with us. And I've learned a lot these past 2 weeks. You have no idea. And I've met people who have also told me how it's impacted them. So thank you for being here. Super grateful. Now, today, actually, no, not today, but on the 3rd of March, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., Big Leagues has something great for you for an extraordinary brunch experience with an amazing menu and vibrant beats by top DJs. So please, pass through Big Leagues Owusu. Go there and enjoy their big branches from the 3rd of March. That's this very Sunday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Go there. They serve different dishes. The place is lovely. Go have fun, relax, go with your friends, okay? Now, Big Leagues is actually the place to go. Trust me on it. And thank you so much for watching Prime Morning today. I didn't do this alone. I did this with the man, K to the M to the J, who's always flying. And of course, Esiedua Alkomia. My name is Roselyn Felli. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be back again tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Bye.